Lawrenceburg, a community of just over 5,000 nestled along the Ohio River in southeastern Indiana, was looking to capitalize on the success of their downtown action agenda. After identifying the public's desire for a downtown community gathering place with plenty of green space, planning for Lawrenceburg Civic Park began. In what used to be 2 paved parking lots, the city transformed the area into a first-class performance stage with a sound system, screen and projection television, public restrooms, splash pad, and open space for both entertainment and relaxation. The $6.2 million space was funded mostly through bond financing, with a small amount coming from the city's municipal development and rainy day funds. Lawrenceburg Civic Park has become an instant attraction for locals and out-of-town visitors utilizing the Lawrenceburg Event Center for business, sporting competitions, or other special events. The park has already anchored the Lawrenceburg Summerfest, Taste of Summer, Music on the River, Movies in the Park, Exercise in the Park, and will soon be home to the revived Lawrenceburg Fall Music Fest. Congratulations, Lawrenceburg, on your 2020 AIM Community Placemaking Award.
Welcome to the 2021 State of the City address here in Lawrenceburg. My name is Kelly Mollaun. I'm the mayor here in Lawrenceburg, and I hope you're as excited as I am about what you're going to hear about today, from 2020 and what we have as a vision for 2021 and beyond. First of all, I'd like to do some thank yous. I'd like to thank the Event Center staff for allowing us to use the facility. They've been a great partner of ours for many years. I'd also like to thank my communications director, Guinevere Emery, for putting this all together today. City Council, of course. City Council, I just thank them for being a decisive decision-making group that we have here in the city. Other people I'd like to thank is my office staff as well, City Council, redevelopment, other boards in the city, city workers, LMU, our first responders, clerk treasurer's office, the merchants, and most of all, the community. And one thing I want to let you know is you're going to hear a lot of facts and figures today. And if you have any questions, please contact my office, and we'll get you any details for any of these items that you may want. There's going to be a lot to digest, but I'm going to really try to stay within the allotted time today. When I talk about what we've done here in the city, I just want everybody to remember all of those groups that I just listed. That means that encompasses each and every one of them, because it's not about Kelly Mollaun. It's about what we're doing here in the city, but it's a team effort, and it's always been a team effort, and that's what I look forward to in the future. One thing I wanted to touch on, let's go back and review 2020. Everybody wants to forget 2020. I understand that. It's been a challenge for everyone, including us here in the city. Number one, though, we had 4 out of 5 new council members start with management of the city in 2020. New clerk treasurer, and then myself, I was reelected as your mayor for the second term. We figured out very early on there was no script in place for COVID. Everybody was trying to make decisions based upon the information that they had. Obviously, we relied a lot on the state, and also our Dearborn County Health Department, and I can't say enough about them and the job that Dr. Ellison and that group over there has done. And I look forward to meeting with them a lot up here in the future with our events in 2021. Our number one goal was to protect public health and safety. It's 24/7. Our first responders during the whole COVID situation, when it was really sort of new to all of us and different, we're here 24/7 taking care, making sure that our city was safe and secure. And our police, fire, and EMS, I can't say enough about Chief Tremaine, Chief Snyder, Director Rick Clark, and their staff. They've done a very, very nice job throughout the last year, but I didn't expect anything less out of that group. But our city workers, Never once did we go without our garbage being picked up. Never once did we go with our streets not being nice and clean. Never once did we go without Mike Harper and Andy Lyons and that group, LMU workers and their staff, making sure that when you turn that light switch on, it's on, and when you turn on your water spigot, it's on. And I can't thank you enough for those. We also had the addition of a new utility director this year, Mr. Bill Kennett, and what a great addition he's been. And I can't wait for everyone in the city and the community to get to meet him as well. We obviously, at the very beginning of COVID, we wanted to be proactive in what we did, not reactive. We knew that everything we had worked on for the last 4 years, as far as the retail shops, restaurants in the city, were going to struggle. So council very willingly, at my request, had asked them to consider a small business grant for these small businesses to help get them through 3 to 4 months of COVID time when practically the whole nation was shut down. And council willingly did that. We had 78 small business grants that we awarded. And I'm happy to say that 75 of those businesses are still in operation today. So that was an immediate need, and we were able to meet that. But one other thing we did for our residents who were also struggling was we offered a 2-month reprieve on utility bills. I can't tell you, I can't count how many thank yous, emails, phone calls that our council and myself had gotten thanking us for that. A lot of people were struggling, and I know they're still struggling today, but that was something else we could do for our residents. And one thing I want to add about that, the state recognized us as being a leader when it comes to taking care of our businesses and our residents during that time. And I can't thank council enough for that. You know, anything that, one other thing I wanted to mention, I'm sorry, I almost forgot. We also initiated a citywide one-call system called Reach Alert. That is an alert system that anybody in this community or even beyond the community can sign up for to get real-time questions answered regarding, okay, why is this street closed, or why is my water out this morning, things like that. It gives us an opportunity to get you a first-hand account of what's going on in a very immediate response way of doing it. And right now, currently, we got 741 users, and we want to get that to, it's a no cost to you folks, and we want to increase that amount to whatever we can. But you can sign up at www.thinklawrenceburg.com. www.thinklawrenceburg.com. You can use that website for about anything I'm talking about today, and if you need to hear about any of our events as well. Next thing I want to talk about, we actually in 2020 were able to finally break ground on the Whiskey River Apartments. That was a partnership we did with Flaherty and Collins for 150 unit luxury apartments downtown that adjoins the Dearborn Trail. You know, we were guaranteed in our development agreement $7.5 million of property tax collection, and that's at a minimum over the next 25 years. We also were able to work in that we know there's going to be a local income tax collection of $100,000, projected $20 million in utility revenue to be generated over the next 30 years. So it's just something we were investing in at now when we had the opportunity that will pay dividends 20 and 30 years from now. We also opened up the new splash park. I know a lot of people got to enjoy that this past summer. That was a $1.2 million addition to our pool in replacement of our old baby pool. And we're happy that people got to enjoy that this summer. Yes, we were able to open up our pool, and not a lot of municipalities can say that. And I'll be honest with you, I was one of those naysayers, and council, we had a couple of different meetings, and council actually talked me into changing my decision, that's for sure. And I'm so glad they did, because it was the right thing to do. And we had a lot of people able to enjoy that, a lot of kids, a lot of adults. But one thing we were proud of is the new splash park that we were able to open. You know, the other thing I wanted to talk about at this time is our CARE initiative. This is our initiative that was started about 3 years ago. One of the first things I know 5 years ago that I was approached with was, what are we going to do about the opioid problem we have here in the city, overdose problems we have here in the city, and what is the city going to do about it? Well, obviously I'm not the professional, but one thing that I did feel like I could do was get the right people in a room and start talking about it. And our first meeting that we had over 75 stakeholders in a room to talk about nothing but what is being done by each of these agencies that are in our community, in our county. And what we figured out right away was everybody's doing a lot of good things, but no one knew what each other was doing. So we went to the State House. We talked with the head of the DMHA, and they agreed to purchase or to pay for a consultant to come down here and identify what our gaps are here in the area. And right away we figured out that we like all communities, we're never going to solve this problem, but we have gaps that we can help with people that are in recovery and such. One thing that we were able to do in 2020, which we thought was going to be a long-term goal of the initiative, was to secure a recovery hub building. And that was at back when High Point Health was High Point Health prior to St. E. Mr. Schwebler and I were able to work out an agreement, and the council at the time accepted it, and we're going to turn that over to the CARE initiative as soon as they are ready. So that's just one of the things that we're doing with the CARE initiative, and I ask if you ever get a chance to attend one of those meetings, please do. You won't regret it. We can use your help. The other thing that we are going to do, let me see here, is we were able to do 11 street rehab projects up on Ludlow Hill this past year. And that was all part of the Community Crossings municipal grant that we applied for. We recognized that we had quite a bit of roads up on the hill that needed to be repaved and redone and sealed, and we were able to do that. Once again, we applied for a Community Crossings grant this year, which we didn't think was going to happen because of COVID. Community Crossings is paid for at the state level through the gas tax, and during COVID, no one was out driving, so the gas taxes went down. So we didn't anticipate a Community Crossings grant, but we were able to get one after the state opened up the grant cycle. And now we, as many of you know, Old State Route 48, which we had to close because of safety reasons, because there's a terrible slip in the road, which many of you who have been around here for many, many years know that happened back when the state owned that road. Well, now the city owns the road, and we had to do something about it. The safest thing that the engineers were telling us was to close it down until we could fix it and fix it right. Well, I'm happy to say that we applied for a Community Crossings grant. We were awarded almost $800,000 to go and fix that slip in the road. And the people up on that stretch of road are going to be happy to know that this is all about a year ahead of schedule. So we're excited about that, and we're excited about getting that stretch of road open back up. The city of Lawrenceburg was also awarded $600,000 for flood drainage improvements down on Dowdy Road. If everybody remembers back in 1997 when we had quite a bit of rain, a lot of flooding, and that whole complex where Planet Fitness is now was completely flooded. And after that, there was fixes put in by the city, pump station, slide gate. It was just something that had to be done. And right now, we're at 1997 was quite a long time ago. We've identified that it's time to upgrade. And so we applied for a grant through Okra and got a $600,000 stormwater grant improvement for Dowdy Road, and I'm excited that we're going to be able to start that project as well. One thing we don't want to do is that's been a great addition over the last 4 years down there at Millhouse Plaza, and we don't want to cause those folks any problems. The other thing that we did, we started a sidewalk project up on State Route 48. That's a long process to go through. A lot of identification of where you're going to put the sidewalk, what kind of easements you're going to need, and things like that. But I wanted to let people know that that is something we started in 2020. We're going to continue in 2021, moving forward with that. We understand the safety concerns up on 48. A lot of people run, a lot of people walk on 48, and we want to try to address those safety concerns. We also want to make sure that we can get people to our Ludlow Hill Park. So that's another reason for that. Okay, enough about 2020. Let's talk about 2021, where we're going to go, and the vision that we have going forward. I'll tell you what, 2021 is going to be progress here in the city like you've never seen. Like I said, the groups that we're working with, redevelopment, and those groups have got a great vision to move this city forward. And let me tell you about some of the things, you know, that we're hoping for. Number one, I'm hoping for reduced COVID-19 impacts, like we all are. Talking to the state folks, the state health department, the governor's office, everybody is anticipating a great turnaround, and we're planning to go forward with our events. We've already started having planning meetings for all of our downtown events, and we want everybody to be able to come down, and hopefully with no restrictions. But if there are restrictions, we will revisit at the time. We will do what we were asked to do by the governor's office and also our Board of Health, just like we did back in 2020. For a long list of our upcoming events, please visit thinklawrenceburg.com, because you'll get all the event details there. And I want to thank Main Street for all their help in helping with organization of all those events as well. Currently, we're talking to more downtown retail. And I'll say this, and I don't want to jinx it, but we're hoping that we have a bakery very soon. We hope we have a retail woodworking shop very soon. We hope we have the return of another antique mall very soon downtown. Along with all the many other additions we've enjoyed over the last year to 4 years downtown, these are going to be great improvements. One thing that I've talked with Mr. Brian Messmore, our redevelopment director, about is we've had more activity of people wanting to come and explore Lawrenceburg for a potential business during COVID than we had pre-COVID. And I think that's a testament of everything we've done during the COVID months, that we were able to support our merchants and support our restaurants and support all of Lawrenceburg. So I hope you agree with that as well. We also are going to have it's time for our 2021 comprehensive plan. What's a comprehensive plan? A comprehensive plan is exactly what it says. It will encompass everything that we're wanting to do here in the city of Lawrenceburg over the next few years. The last comprehensive plan was done, I believe, 10 years ago. So what you're going to have a chance to do as a community member is get involved. We're going to have different surveys for you. We're going to have public workshops and things like that. We ask you to keep visiting our website for when those things will come up, and we want you to get involved. The other thing that we're looking at is riverfront development. You know, our river is probably the most unutilized resource that we have. You know, God has put that right in our backyard, and we need to use it more often than we do. And what we really need to look at is, how do we access the river from downtown and vice versa? How do the people from the river access downtown? And we're going to look at that. You know, a new dock system has been talked about. That would offer an opportunity of possibly a second floating restaurant down there with additional boat slips, but more importantly, an opportunity for us to improve on how we get people down to the river and how people from the river get up to Lawrenceburg. So be on the lookout for that as well. The thing that I want to talk about is something you've heard me talk about for the last 5 years, and also throughout every one or both of my campaigns. You know, when I make any decisions here in Lawrenceburg, people will agree with them, they may not, and I understand that. We're all human, but I always said that we will always make decisions based upon 3 pillars. That's education, economic development, and quality of life. Those are the things that we should be investing in. Those are the things that we should be looking at into the future. When I talk about education, something we're continuing, and I'm just going to highlight a couple things. But again, we're partnering with Ivy Tech on an adult scholarship program. This is the 2nd year. $125,000 that was approved by council in our budget. And then the Ivy Tech Community Foundation, they also matched that $125,000 for scholarships for our adults here in the community that can take advantage of maybe needing to go back to school. You know, through COVID, a lot of people had lost their jobs. A lot of people were downsized. A lot of people were maybe being underutilized now, and they want to improve in their socioeconomic state. And this is just another great opportunity for them to do that. I want to say also hats off to our Lawrenceburg Community School Corporation and St. Lawrence. These teachers and administrators and maintenance staff and bus drivers have done a stellar job here in Lawrenceburg. We hear it all the time. We're so close to the tri-state with Cincinnati and Ohio and Kentucky, and how some of those schools aren't even back. They haven't stepped foot in a classroom yet. I admire, I applaud our folks here in Lawrenceburg. Mr. Gailey and I talk routinely about how the city can help. And I just can't say enough about what they've done for our kids and our grandkids here in the city. And I can't say, they are truly heroes in the city. Next thing I want to talk about is economic development. I just talk about, we've had more opportunities during COVID than we did at pre-COVID. And I continue, it's continuing now. We're getting calls all the time. People say, do you have a storefront for this? Do you have a storefront for that? Or, hey, can we come in and talk about this or that? And we look forward to that. Obviously, the Whiskey River Apartments is a huge economic driver downtown. This is going to present a lot of unique amenities for people. I've heard people say, hey, it's not affordable housing, things like that. You know what? We're also identifying places that we can start working on affordable housing. We have many grant possibilities over at Main Street for people to help with improving upon their homes, improving upon their businesses, things like that. And I beg you to go out and take a look at those opportunities through Main Street. Give them a call and see what they can do. And this doesn't just mean downtown. This is up on the hill as well. And I want you folks to take advantage of that. And I think more and more we are. Once again, we will be contributing to the Cancer Center at St. E that's going to be built. My resources tell me that it's going to be built in the next couple of years. And I know Lawrenceburg committed back in my first administration to a nice sizable donation there, $5 million, and we're going to hold true to that. And I can't wait for that facility to open. You know, the other thing that is really big, and we're going to hear about it on February 28th of this month. Redevelopment worked with a company to bring more senior housing to town. And this is going to be located over on the Durbin Plaza lot next to the Adult Center, provided that that company gets the tax credits that they've applied for. We're just waiting to see if we've been awarded on February 28th. And obviously if we're awarded, that will be big news here in Lawrenceburg, because we know we need some more senior housing as well. Lawrenceburg Community Center, this is recent, but I want to thank Mary Beth Hedrick and her staff for the many years of service down there. They approached myself a couple, 3-4 months ago, I guess, and said, hey, I think it's time for me to maybe go on to my next venture, and she wanted to retire. And then the board approached us about maybe the Parks Board here in Lawrenceburg taking over the community center. What people do know or don't know is we've always been we supply them 100% of their funding, but they always had a separate board that they started back when the community center was formed. And you know what, I applaud those folks as well. They've done a great job over the years. That board has remained a stalwart for the community center and for the community. But we just hired a new community center director, Mr. Richard Richardson. The Parks Board did extensive interviewing. We had almost 50 applicants, and we think be on the lookout for new and exciting things at the community center. And I can't wait to get that up and running. We're going to try to get it. It's time for a facelift, so you're going to start seeing some construction as well. But we want to make it as nice as we can for our community. A couple other things I want to touch on. Ludlow Hill playground installation happened in 2020. My goodness, you know, we have some of the nicest parks around, but with that comes a price in keeping them that way. And so what we decided to do was 2 years ago we actually replaced the small playground up there on Ludlow Hill Park. But this past year, we had a project put together and we involved community members. They formed a group, and with some parameters and budgets, they were able to design what you see today up there. And what a great asset it's been to Ludlow Hill and that park. I know I go over there quite a bit, just driving through all of our assets and see all kinds of people utilizing that facility, and that's what we want. But to add to that, in 2021, we're doing the same thing with Arch Street Playground down here in Lawrenceburg. Arch Street has always been an icon down here. The playground has. We're going in and giving a complete facelift. And demolition has already started. I'm happy to say that City of Aurora is going to be able to utilize some of the old equipment that we're taking out of there. And we'll have new equipment being delivered here soon. And then we will be able to open up the park. The thing that I wanted to sort of end with, I guess. You know, there's a lot going on here in Lawrenceburg, and I'm very, very proud to be a part of it. I thank you for allowing me to be a part of it. I don't take this position lightly. I know that what we're doing here will affect each and every one of us, each and every one of our kids and our grandkids going forward. And I fit into each of those categories. And I know I share the same sentiments of all the boards that support this city as well. But Lawrenceburg is becoming a destination here in the tri-state. If you talk to people in the region, they've been here for an event. And that is part of our vision, to make Lawrenceburg a destination. It is not we're not trying to do away with small city Lawrenceburg. I grew up here. I know what it was like 40, 50 years ago. We want that to continue. We want people to be able to go outside and know your neighbor. We want people to be walking down these streets and be able to stop on the street and talk to somebody they may know. That continues today. But what we're trying to do is actually move us into progression. And we're going to do that in a very systematic way. We're turning the corner here. People, and as I said, you know, I deal a lot with people in the tri-state area on different boards as well. And they're more and more familiar with Lawrenceburg. And when I say about making us a destination, I mean, people go down here on 50 are now knowing that they can make a left-hand turn when they're coming from Ohio or Kentucky down on Walnut Street and get to something that's pretty special. I know we've invested and taken a lot of time in downtown, but it's for everybody to enjoy. It's for myself and people that live up on Ludlow Hill. They're not forgotten, and they never will be. I live up there as well. But I want everybody to come, enjoy what we're doing here, and become a part. During this comprehensive plan, become a part. Don't sit down, don't sit back on the sidelines, become a part of what's special down here. I just want to let everybody know that anything, like I said, that we talked about today, you can call my office, I can give you details, I'll sit down with you, whatever you need. But also, all of our events and such, www.thinklawrenceburg.com. And the other thing is, we got the tagline under our city logo, City on the Rise. And that's something we did 4 to 5 years ago. And that's the logo we're using because we truly believe that Lawrenceburg is a city on the rise. The last thought I'll leave you with is, besides a thank you for joining us today, and I'm sorry if I did go over a little bit, but don't forget, next 7 to 10 days it's going to be very bitter cold. And please, we're still Lawrenceburg, we're still that friendly place down here, and I want you to check on your neighbors, and especially the elderly, because they may need something over the next 7 to 10 days when bitter cold temperatures will be here. Thank you for joining in today. I can't say enough about what's going on here. I hope you agree, and I just look forward to the next things that the council and redevelopment and myself can do on your behalf. Thank you.